Okay, it's me, Gage, and I'm here to review Injustice 2's Story Mode. Now, to be honest, to get it right out of the way, I think it was pretty dull, to say the least, and at most, it was an okay story. I'm gonna go over the basics and everything. I'm not gonna go into detail within the chapters and all that, but I will go into some things, but let's just get started. There's a total of 12 chapters in the game, and the gameplay lasts for well over a few hours, so it's not really a short story mode. Now, two people die in the story mode that we actually get to see, and that's Gorilla Grodd, who gets stabbed to death by Aquaman, and Dr. Fate, who gets the helmet crushed and then impaled by one of Brainiac's tentacle things from his ship. And another thing is, everyone in Metropolis died because that got erased when Superman tried to restore the cities. So anyone that was in there died, so last time we saw Scarecrow, Captain Cold, Reverse Flash, Cheetah, they were all in Metropolis, but there was a little bit of a time lapse when Supergirl had to get Harley away, so they could have left and survived. It's unclear, as it's not covered again later. But, so, yeah. The game was pretty dull because pretty much the society is rarely actually shown as a full-blown group for a majority of the story. In fact, they're only really there for the first 3 chapters. Then they're pretty much gone. Actually, 4, I believe. They're present in the second chapter with Harley. Then they're in the Black Canary and Green Arrow chapter. And then they show up in the Flash chapter. And then we get to see Grodd later, but the society at that point's disbanded because nothing really suited the villains then anymore. And apparently Grodd and Cheetah have been working for Brainiac, who shows up pretty much during Chapter 3, so to me it just feels like they rushed Brainiac's inclusion. They should have built up towards Brainiac more, but they just didn't. It's hard to say. They just kind of rushed him into the story to let people know that Brainiac is the main villain. They're not keeping you hidden in the dark here. Like in the first Injustice, we knew Superman was the villain, so there wasn't much build up to him being the final boss. But everything... Now, here's the other thing. The pacing of the game. I'll get back to what I was saying in a second, but the pacing of the game is all different. It pretty much starts off the first 4 chapters slow, and then immediately ramps up into some big epic stuff. So yeah, whenever Brainiac's introduced, the story just kind of ramps up quickly and everything. There's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of destruction, everything's going down. Superman's regime and Batman's insurgency have to team up to beat Brainiac, and all that. It just felt wrong, because in the first Injustice, we went through a ton of chapters just building up to this big crisis. And that was a great part of the story of Injustice 1, was the build-up to it. And I feel like they wasted that here with this one, because it's kind of like, oh, look, here's Brainiac, everything's going down now, just sit back and enjoy. But there's really no build-up. The first 4 chapters, when we're going to get the build-up pretty much, is not that great. Another thing was how they handled a few other characters. There are a few characters who only show up once throughout the story, and that was Joker, who only shows up as a hallucination, and Atrocitus, who only shows up in Atlantis trying to give Hal Jordan a ring, though his presence is shown later as Green Lantern has red eyes due to his rage building. But that's about it. We only see him and Dexter once, then never again. We see Scarecrow twice, and a few others, I think even a little bit less. The choices in the game aren't really that climactic. It's more or less just pick who you want to fight as right now, or pretty much pick your ending. You pick Superman's ending, where you merge with Brainiac's technology. You pick Batman's ending, where pretty much is the canon ending, which sets up for Injustice 3. Which I'm going to predict is we'll probably have either Blackest Night theme or Darkseid theme. But either way. we're not here to speculate on Injustice 3 for at least another few years. But, yeah, that's pretty much the story for you. Dr. Fate, Gorilla Grodd die. The choices are kind of lackluster. I was expecting, like, at different points you can pick between multiple characters, like maybe 3 to 4 or something like that, where you can go down a specific path with that character for a little while, like through a whole chapter, or just something like that, but it's just odd. They just kind of went with, oh, two characters share the same chapter, but whatever you pick has no real consequence. I would have liked a little bit more consequence with who you picked, but I guess that's asking a bit too much of a fighting game. And the endings were kind of meh, and the pacing was very dull and felt very rushed. So, in my opinion, the story was pretty dull, but did have some good moments, so the story I give a 6 out of 10. It definitely could have been a lot better than what it was. It could have focused on some other aspects, could have added some things to it. But the way it was just presented, I just give it a 6 out of 10. And this is coming from someone who hyped up this story a lot, thinking it was going to be something outstanding, and it's pretty much just an okay story at best. So yeah, that's my review of the story. See you next time.